The drama surrounding Sophie Cunningham has spiraled into one of the most unexpected controversies the WNBA has seen this year. What began as a light-hearted joke, an offhand comment made in the middle of a casual conversation, erupted into a full-blown digital war that left fans divided, reputations questioned, and the league's fragile public image once again under fire. At the center of it all stood two women: Sophie Cunningham, the fiery, outspoken guard known for her grit and charisma, and Angel Reese, the rising superstar whose confidence and cultural impact have made her both beloved and polarizing. But beneath the surface of viral tweets and outrage headlines lies something deeper. A reflection of how fragile the line has become between admiration and accusation, between fandom and fanaticism. It all started with a clip. Sophie Cunningham, relaxed and cheerful, was talking about her new diet restrictions. It was a light conversation. She joked about eating like a rabbit and missing her favorite foods. Then, in passing, she laughed and said, "I guess I'm going to turn into a Victoria's Secret model. Call me Angel Reese." It was a playful quip, a nod to Angel's high-profile appearance on the runway. But within hours, that one sentence had been torn from its context and weaponized. Suddenly, Sophie wasn't joking, at least, not according to the internet. She was mocking Angel Reese. She was jealous. She was racist. And within a single day, what was once an ordinary moment became the center of a viral inferno. Angel Reese's fans, passionate and ever protective, swarmed the comment sections across TikTok, X, and Instagram. They flooded Sophie's mentions with accusations, twisting her joke into an insult and branding her as a clout chaser desperate to attach her name to Angel's fame. Jealous little girl. Racist trash. She's mad she'll never be Angel. The insults came fast, vicious, and relentless. It didn't matter that Sophie had said nothing remotely malicious. The narrative had already been written. The mob had already chosen its villain. The irony was painful. Sophie Cunningham has never been the kind of player who needed to chase attention. She's been one of the most recognizable faces in the WNBA for years. Known for her fearless play, her outgoing personality, and her strong brand presence off the court. She's secured endorsement deals, appeared in national campaigns, and built her own image long before Angel Reese even entered the league. In fact, Sophie's popularity had placed her in the same statistical tier as Reese and Caitlin Clark in terms of social media engagement and trending analytics. Yet somehow, that didn't matter. A single phrase, "Call me Angel Reese," was all it took to rewrite her entire reputation overnight. The internet, of course, thrives on outrage. A light-hearted clip about nutrition suddenly became a supposed act of shade. Fans who hadn't even seen the full video began sharing edited snippets, cropped to make Sophie look smug or condescending. Context disappeared, tone vanished, and in its place came a narrative too juicy to resist. The jealous white player mocking the confident black star. It was clickbait gold, and the digital media machine ran with it. Within hours, WNBA blogs, gossip accounts, and even verified sports pages began amplifying the story. Headlines screamed that Sophie had insulted Angel. Influencers posted reaction videos dissecting her tone. And the league's ever-passionate fan base took sides, transforming the situation into a public trial. But here's what most of them didn't know. Sophie hadn't even realized she was in the middle of a controversy. While the internet was tearing her apart, she was busy training, posting about basketball, and living her life completely unaware that her name was trending for all the wrong reasons. When Sophie finally saw the chaos, it was already too late. The narrative had solidified, and perception had become reality. But as the backlash grew, so did a quiet realization among observers. This wasn't really about the comment at all. It was about something far more complicated. Because let's be honest, if Angel Reese had said the exact same thing about Sophie Cunningham, fans would have called it confidence. They would have praised it as playful banter or light-hearted shade. But when Sophie, a white player, made the same kind of joke, it was instantly framed as racism, jealousy, or insecurity. That double standard has been quietly poisoning the WNBA's culture for years. In a league that prides itself on unity and empowerment, the conversation too often devolves into division and identity politics. Caitlin Clark has faced similar treatment, accused of privilege or overhype simply for being successful in a league struggling to balance representation and recognition. The same fans who celebrate confidence in one player call it arrogance in another. Sophie's case became yet another example of how narratives are shaped not by what is said, but by who says it. As the backlash raged on, Sophie chose not to engage. No tweet, no apology, no clapback. Just silence. And in that silence, she revealed a kind of strength that the internet wasn't prepared for. She didn't defend herself, because there was nothing to defend. Instead, she let time and truth do the talking. It was a risky move in an age where silence is often interpreted as guilt. But for Sophie, it was the smartest play she could make. The outrage machine relies on attention, on replies, on emotional reactions. By refusing to feed it, she quietly dismantled it. Days passed, and slowly, the tone began to shift. Fans began revisiting the original clip, realizing how harmless it actually was. Commentators started pointing out the absurdity of the situation. Even some of Angel Reese's own supporters admitted that the outrage had gone too far. Then came the turning point, the release of the full, unedited video. For the first time, people could see the entire conversation, start to finish. Sophie wasn't mocking Angel at all. In fact, she was laughing and admiring her. She mentioned how impressive it was for Angel to walk the Victoria's Secret runway, joking that she might try to do the same someday. Her "Call me Angel Reese" line was, in truth, a compliment, an acknowledgement of Angel's achievements. But by the time this version surfaced, the damage was already done. The accounts that had twisted her words for clicks and engagement had already moved on to their next controversy. But those who watched the full video couldn't help but notice how easily the truth had been buried. The same pages that once called Sophie jealous suddenly went quiet. Some even deleted their posts entirely. Others tried to backtrack, claiming they were just sharing opinions. But the truth was clear. This had never been about Sophie versus Angel. It was about how the internet's thirst for outrage can destroy reputations in the blink of an eye. What's most troubling about all this isn't just the online mob. It's how little the league itself did to control the narrative. The WNBA, an organization that preaches empowerment, inclusion, and unity, remained completely silent as one of its players was harassed and vilified for something she didn't even do. No official statement, no clarification, no defense. Just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. Because while the league is quick to amplify controversy when it brings attention or clicks, it's far slower to defend its players when they're unfairly attacked. This selective outrage has become a recurring theme in women's basketball. When drama trends, the league benefits from the visibility. But when that same drama crosses the line into hate and harassment, suddenly no one wants to take responsibility. The Sophie Cunningham incident was more than just another social media feud. It exposed a deeper cultural problem in the WNBA and its fan base. The sport has incredible momentum right now, with stars like Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and Aya Wilson pulling in record audiences and sponsorships. But instead of celebrating that growth, online communities are fracturing it. Every viral moment becomes a battlefield, every playful comment a potential scandal. Fans demand loyalty, not objectivity. You're either with their favorite player or against her. There's no middle ground. That toxic loyalty doesn't just hurt the players, it hurts the game itself. When every conversation turns into a fight over identity, jealousy, or race, the focus shifts away from the court. Instead of talking about performance, skill, or competition, the conversation becomes about who said what and why. It's a cycle that keeps repeating, one that the league seems unwilling or unable to break. But Sophie's silence became something powerful, a statement in itself. While others fueled the chaos, she refused to let it define her. She showed up to practice, posted about her team, smiled in interviews, and kept moving forward. Her quiet resilience began to shift public perception. People started to respect her composure, her refusal to play the victim or fight back with venom. It was rare, especially in a league where every word is scrutinized, but it worked. Soon, other players began to speak up. They'd seen this play out too many times before. One comment taken out of context, twisted into a weapon, and used to destroy someone's character. Some admitted privately that they were afraid to joke or speak freely online because the mob could turn on anyone, anytime. A veteran player summed it up best: "You can't even joke anymore without someone clipping it and calling you a villain." And she was right. The WNBA's growth has been overshadowed by online tribalism. The same energy that could be building excitement for the sport is instead being poured into feuds and fan wars. But Sophie's situation forced a rare moment of reflection. Journalists began calling out the double standards. Independent commentators started dissecting the media's role in amplifying outrage for profit. Even casual fans outside the WNBA bubble started asking why this league, more than any other, seemed to turn every disagreement into a cultural war. By the time the full context came out, Sophie didn't need to defend herself. The evidence did it for her. She didn't need to argue her innocence. The truth was undeniable. And while the outrage had already peaked, her reputation began to recover. Her follower count grew. Her engagement increased. And more importantly, she earned respect, not just for what she said, but for what she didn't. The Sophie Cunningham controversy became a case study in how modern fandom works. Outrage spreads faster than truth. Perception outpaces reality. And in the noise of it all, the actual sport, the basketball, the talent, the progress, gets lost. What should have been a funny, forgettable moment turned into a reflection of something broken in the culture surrounding women's sports. Because at its core, this was never about Sophie Cunningham or Angel Reese. It was about a system that feeds on conflict to stay relevant. It was about the media's addiction to clicks, the fans' addiction to drama, and the league's unwillingness to take control of its own narrative. And yet, despite all of it, Sophie came out stronger. Not because she fought the fire, but because she refused to let it consume her. In the end, the outrage faded, the hashtags disappeared, and the world moved on to the next controversy. But the lesson remains. In the age of viral chaos, silence can be the loudest statement of all. Sophie Cunningham didn't have to shout to clear her name. She just had to stand still and let the truth rise to the surface.